touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your
Alrighty, folks, on to the second race of our doubleheader here tonight. And we're getting set up with the starting lineup. It is Nashville for the Southern Comfort 241. 181 laps the distance here from Nashville Super Speedway. Starting on the front row, you're going to have Snake Plissken for Al Bunch Incorporated there in the Dodge Charger starting first. Second to him is Shy Turtle in the Tim Hortons number 99 Cadillac there for KBM, Courting Brothers Motorsports. Then it's Lefty Turner, your points leader, alongside Joey Johnson for Jimmy Logano Racing. Cannon Gage makes the switch over to Dodge, joining his own personal team for the most part here, bringing his Hellcat to the racetrack week in, week out now. Cannon Gage starting fifth here alongside Alex Sanvital. Then it's Santi Messi and Andrew Moger, followed by Philip Purpura and Chase Kovacic. Then you have Sebastian Galloway Jr. and the 18 of Trevor Vaden, Tim Morris and Ryan White, and then it's Jack Davis and Billy Lovejoy, followed by the teammates there of Timothy Buchanan and Finlay Herwig. Ralph Oberstadt starting deep in the field here tonight alongside Alan Malcolm. Jonah Burge and Campbell Marsh. And the teammates there, Adam Starr and Krista Cower, the Subaru duo. Kyler Sestere and Justin Day2, Ryan Little and Cam Jordan. Silent Amethyst and Jeffrey Gerald. Kat Durham and Sarah Taylor, with Jason So and Eli the Wolf rounding out the field here today. So 181 laps the distance here tonight at Nashville. Front and center, Snake Plissken, who has been a star in the making. That 81 machine has been stout. He is going to be part of the Cup Series this week. Starting on Thursday at Evergreen, he's going to be trying to make his first ever Sigma Cup start, qualifying through the main event, or through the qualifier to make the main event. He'll try. We'll see how he does. So 181 laps is a good distance here today. These drivers are going to be trying to figure out when to make that one pit stop, maybe two pit stops, depending. But leading them into the green flag here. Whoa, Lefty Turner gives a bit of a bump there to Snake Plissken, the outlaw, getting ruffled up a little bit there. Lefty Turner showing that he's not afraid to bump elbows here. Whoa, look at Santi Messi come charging through there as well. Seeing some surprise comers and goers already on the beginning lap of the race. Snake Plissken leads over your points leader, Lefty Turner. Lefty Turner makes the bold move, gets there, gets the advantage. Is 81 going to be able to charge back around the outside? Well, there you go. Lefty Turner takes over the top spot now. Back for the lead, the 81 of Snake Plissken fighting tooth and nail. Santi Messi right there in the picture. Can engage with the big swap over to Dodge. Seems to be running a lot smoother here tonight. That Dodge Charger looking impressive already out of the gate. The Hellcat #2 machine fighting for a top 5 in his first start with the Dodge this season. Battle brewing for the lead. That's the 84 of Santi Messi knocking on the door. Lefty Turner losing some ground here. Fastest lap in the race goes to that #2 machine of Cannon Gage. Here comes the 84 of Santi Messi. He's going to blow right by Snake Plissken. Make it look like he was standing still. So I've been pretty excited lately. I've been working on my next new track here for NR2003. I'm trying to build my home track of Tri-City Raceway, and it's coming out pretty smoothly right now. I was able to turn laps and get it right within the qualifying times of the real-life track circuit itself. So, yeah, pretty wild how it's week in, week out, sometimes the same drivers holding the front of the field here. Just a big omission not having Willow Blake in the field here. I think Shy Turtle kind of replaced that void with how strong he's running lately. So from one Cadillac to another Cadillac, Shy Turtle flying the banner of the Canadian flag loud and proud, putting on some great runs here lately. Race winner last week here in the Bridge to Cup Series. Could he make it potentially 2 for 2? Snake Plissken's going to be tough to get around, though. He has been one of the toughest guys to beat when it comes to ARCA, when it comes to this Bridge to Cup Series. He has 2 wins this year already. I want to say he had 3 wins in ARCA last year, so it's just a matter of time before he starts racking up wins in the Cup Series. And with his first starts ever, or at least he's going to attempt, he'll have to qualify just like everyone else that does not have a chartered ride. He's going to be rolling into this weekend unchartered for the Sigma Cup races at Evergreen. And then Moses Lake Motorplex, the home of Sigma Racing. Should be exciting to see if he can make the main event for Thursday night and Friday night. Part of kind of a birthday spectacular for myself as we're rolling into the weekend with a doubleheader on home soil for us. So Santi Messi's kind of stretching out the lead right now over Snake Plissken. Then Shy Turtle. Then the one of Lefty Turner. The 82 of Joey Johnson. The 44 of Chase Kovacic. And the 2 of Cannon Gage. Then you have the 41 of Alex Sanvital. Sebastian Galloway Jr. in 9th. And Philip Purpura rounding out your top 10. Jonah Burridge in 11th, Tim Morrison 12th, Ryan White falls back to 13th, Jack Davis in 14th, and his teammate Trevor Vaden in 15th. Wow, big lead. Big advantage for Santi Messi, as you can't even see him in the same picture on those camera angles. Fastest lap in the race, Santi Messi just turned it. So yeah, I'm excited to get the new track made up and hopefully add it to our calendar for next year. with Moses Lake Motorplex and Tri-City Raceway, man, it'll be feeling more like home for me with all my local racetracks. Even though Moses Lake is a concept racetrack, it's the home for Sigma Racing. And Tri-City Raceway, hopefully we can add it to the calendar and have some exciting races, kind of get some more grassroots feel to it with the one of the last existing half-mile tri-ovals to date. No other tri-ovals exist under, well, at half-mile or shorter. Obviously, like Pocono's a 2-mile tri-oval, but you honestly did not see very many tri-ovals in the design of a racetrack back then that was under a mile, under, you know, even at half miles. And so that's what's so cool, what's so unique about Tri-City Raceway is the design was kind of perceived off of the concept of the 3 cities, of Tri-Cities, Richland, Kennewick, and Pasco. And that's where they came up with the idea for the triangular-shaped half-mile racetrack. Good call. Let us check in on the fuel numbers here tonight. Looks like 75 laps, so it's going to be about a 2-stopper here for sure. 75 is a pretty good run on the fuel window here. Things are staying green so far, so just get settled in and kind of set yourself up for those first round of pit stops, whether it comes under green flag or caution. And meanwhile, Santi Messi stretching it out here. If he can continue at that pace, he might be dealing with lap traffic before the first round of green flag pit stops. Yeah, we're definitely settling in for the long haul tonight. So currently Santi Messi, through 9 races this season, is 12th in the points with 4 top 5s and 4 top 10s, only 1 DNF, and has secured 1 pole position. Snake Plissken, on the other hand, sits 2nd in the points with 2 wins, 5 top 5s, and 6 top 10s, also recording only 1 DNF, and yet he's secured 2 poles, plus 1 here tonight for 3. So Snake Plissken is trying to establish himself as one of the top dogs, for sure. Sebastian Galloway Jr. sits 3rd in the points, no wins, only 2 top 5s, but he has had 6 top 10s and also 2 poles. But on top of that, he's had 2 DNFs, so it's kind of a mixed bag for him, but it seems like he's been pretty consistent at getting those top 10s, which really seems to be one of the keys to winning the championship. If you can continue with consistency, you can still kill them without winning all the races. But kind of on the flip side of that, Snake Plissken trying to prove that the only way to win a championship is to win all the races that you can. And so 2 wins for Snake Plissken is the most and the highest in points, other than Campbell Marsh, who had 2 wins to start the season, and he sits 14th in the points. Lefty Turner makes a move up into 3rd. He's trying to battle for 2nd there on Snake Plissken. Pliskin has left the door open. He's going to be protecting that position on Lefty Turner. Turner's right there knocking on the door. Here comes the number 1 machine. Well, back up to second for Lefty Turner, your points leader. Snake Pliskin falls back to third. And here comes Joey Johnson in the 82 machine as well. All in the meanwhile, Santi Messi driving away with it. Santi has not yet won a race this season. He currently sits. Oh yeah, he's the one I mentioned that sits 12th in the points. And he has 4 top 5s, 4 top 10s. And 1 DNF. So Santi Messi, mid-pack, not bad. We're still trying to figure out the format for the Bridge to Cup series. Definitely do not want to do an elimination style. Not sure if I want to do the bracket style again this year, so sort of stay tuned and find out what these drivers will be doing as a championship battle at the end of the year. It's kind of fun that way, kind of leaves it up for speculation as to what method we will crown a champion at the end of the year. But either way, it should be proven to be one of the most highest, I guess, try to make the championship more meaningful no matter what. We'll try to focus on that aspect when it comes to deciding on a format to crown the champion at the end of the year. Santi Messi with the fastest lap, leading the way and really stinking up the show so far. 29 laps in, 152 laps left to go. And he's catching up to some lap traffic here. That is Eli the Wolf in the 00 machine. Wow, what a lead there by the 84 of Santi Messi over Lefty Turner and Snake Plissken. Plissken losing some ground here the longer the run goes on. Maybe burning up those tires a little bit early here. Bit of a snooze fest right now. Blown engine from the 85, a piston failure. I am tuned back in. I zoned out there for a minute, but we might be getting into pit stop range here within the next 25 to 30 laps. It's just reading up that apparently Cletus McFarland was denied for Talladega in a couple weeks for the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. That kind of surprised me a little bit. Not really surprised, I guess, would be the best, because in a way, maybe it is a good call on the safety behalf, but you do think about it, he has made starts in ARCA. He's not ready, obviously. He's going to go out there and run laps down or get in a wreck at Talladega. I've always been kind of taken aback by the idea of, well, we won't let you get experience at said track because we don't think you're experienced enough. And trying to make them race on short tracks is like, yeah, great. You'll get them skilled at running a short track or an intermediate track, but it doesn't really change the ability of that driver to race at a super speedway. Super speedways are its own beast, its own creature, and yet they let Elio Castroneves hop into a Cup car with zero experience in a Cup car years prior. So, yeah, whatever. Oh well. I would like to see him make more starts regardless, and if he's truly, you know, planning on making a big deal out of the NASCAR circuit, he'll make it work. He'll get more starts under his belt and eventually get up there to start some Daytona and Talladega races. It's the same nonsense that we had a couple years ago where Mike Wallace wanted to come run the Daytona 500, but they told Mike Wallace that he is no longer eligible to race NASCAR. And a guy that spent many years. So basically, in a way, Cletus McFarland got the Mike Wallace treatment through and through, except Cletus McFarland doesn't have 600 starts in NASCAR under his belt like Mike Wallace did. So just an interesting tidbit in the NASCAR world that I was reading up on there. Well, everything is caution-free through the first 50 laps here tonight. 131 laps left to go. The fuel window starts to open up around lap 70, where we might see some of our first takers down pit road. Your race leader, the 84 of Santi Messi, stinking up the show right now. Then it's Lefty Turner, Joey Johnson, Snake Plissken, Chase Kovacic, Shy Turtle, and Cannon Gage in the top 7. Then it's Alex Sanvital, Krista Cower, and 10th place, Sebastian Galloway Jr. Jonah Burridge, Phil Purpura, Tim Morse, and Ryan White, followed by Alan Malcolm, Billy Lovejoy, Trevor Vaden, Ralph Oberstadt. Man, that is a deep run for Ralph. We have not seen him this far out of the running order in a long time. So 18th for Ralph at the moment. Campbell Marsh in 19th. Jack Davis in 20th. Ryan Little 21st. Justin Day 2, Silent Amethyst. Kat Durham and Kyler Sestre. Eli the Wolf multiple laps down in 33rd. Finley Herwig 26th. Adam Starr, the 27 car, 27th. Jeffrey Gerald, Andrew Moger, Cam Jordan, Jason So, and Sarah Taylor. One retirement here, that was the 85 of Timothy Buchanan for KGV Racing. 84 is out there on a big lead. Pit stops will definitely shake things up a little bit here tonight. They will have to go through at least 2 pit stops. Whether that's under green flag circumstances or with some cautions. Nashville tends to be pretty light on cautions. I don't know why, but Music Fest Grand Prix last year here, we went pretty deep before we saw the first caution, and that was a much longer race. But sometimes there's a mechanical flaw or a failure that causes a wreck. So a lot could unfold here still. But the longer they run into this green flag, the quicker the race will be. And it'll start setting things up for the final push to the end. Your leader's not really changing much here. Lefty Turner still has a big gap, nearly a 5-second deficit to the 84 of Santi Messi, who's really blowing it out of the water right now. Joey Johnson in 3rd, Snake Plissken in 4th, and then how about Chase Kovacic for All Canadian Racers? That number 44 machine looking solid here tonight. Another lap down for Eli the Wolf, his team owner for All Canadian Racers. A not so good looking night for the 00. And Sigma officials are actually going to go ahead and DQ the number 0 for not meeting modern race pace here tonight. Eli the Wolf will be sent home packing. Definitely pit stops are coming up here shortly. Probably another 10 to 15 laps out. And there's a whole slew of lap cars that Santi Messi is going to be dealing with here now. That is the tail end of the field, the 55 of Jason So running in 32nd place. We'll see if this holds him up at all. And right at about the window where pit stops are going to start unfolding here, this could be a bit of a game changer if he gets held up by the lap traffic, slower laps. While everyone else starts pitting, you never know. It could shake things up. He could get into a wreck here, making a mistake. So here he is navigating through the lap traffic. He already put the 55 of Jason So 1 lap down. Here he is going around Sarah Taylor and even Finley Herwig. Man, what a year difference it makes for Finley Herwig. He has not been the same Finley that we saw last year fighting for wins in Bridge to Cup. He's just struggling to make it along here for the ride here in 2026. And he's gone a lap down already. They get around a couple more cars here. And pit stops happening here. Lap 63, your leader takes the early opportunity to pit. And staying out, Lefty Turner is going to stay a couple laps longer here. Here comes the number 1 and the 99 and the 2 of Cannon Gage. Staying out a little longer, Joey Johnson and the Al Bunch Incorporated 81 machine of Snake Plissken. extra laps. Definitely going to shake things up. I don't think anyone else went with Santi. It looked like most of the field stayed out when he pitted the first time. So he's taken the super undercut, while the rest of the drivers decidedly went with the overcut strategy here. There's a little bit of dust up there. I don't know who got into the grass, but it looks like the race stays green. No caution. Race leader Joey Johnson here at lap 65 with 116 laps to go. Jimmy Logano Racing, the JLR entry of the 82, Joey Johnson. He's going to pit, and also staying out another lap is the 44 of Chase Kovacic for Eli the Wolf's race team, All Canadian Racers. That 44 takes the lead here. And it's not going to be a two-stop, or it's not going to be a one-stop race. It's definitely going to be a two-stopper here tonight. For the number 44 machine pitting here at lap 68, that means he'll be able to stretch it to lap 136 to make that final pit stop. Man, some of the drivers, 63. Man, it's only going to be about 8 laps to the good for Santi Messi on his very early pit stop. I mean, 8 laps is still 8 laps. That's probably not a bad set, honestly. Should be pretty good to stretch it and have a little bit of fuel left over in case of green-white checkers here tonight. So once we get back through cycling through the first round of green flag pit stops here today, a little bit of contact there between Campbell Marsh and Philip Purpura. Looks like your top 10 recycles back to Sebastian Galloway Jr. in 10th. Shy Turtle falls back to 9th. Up to 8th, it's Jonah Burridge. 7th, Krista Cower. 6th, Cannon Gage. 5th, Joey Johnson. 4th, Chase Kovacic. 3rd, Lefty Turner. 2nd, Snake Plissken, with your race leader way out ahead here. 84 of Santi Messi has a 5-second advantage over Snake Plissken. Man, the field is spread out here. Honestly, for Santi Messi, not in the best scenario here, having to deal with lap traffic. That could be a mistake waiting to happen. We've seen so many times with the leaders getting involved with wrecks that are not their doing because they're trying to race around the lap traffic, holding them up. Right now, Snake Plissken 4.8 seconds back. We'll keep an eye on that delta to see if the gap's starting to shrink or if it's growing even more in favor of Santi Messi. $111 laps left to go here from Nashville. The way things are kind of shaking up here, it's going to be a quick one here tonight. No caution so far, and we're slowly reeling in the halfway point already. So the lead is 4.6 seconds in favor of Santi Messi to Snake Plissken. 4.8 seconds, the lead starting to grow for Santi Messi here. Seems like Santi Messi's made his way through one of the first islands of lap traffic. It's going to be a while before he catches the next island of lap traffic. Ralph Oberstadt just trying to soldier along here, mid-pack, running in 17th. He's hoping that he can try to maybe gain some spots here today and eliminate or mitigate the bleeding of points here tonight. Still solidly in the top 10, Sebastian Galloway Jr. there. Now moving up through the field from 9th to 7th is Shy Turtle. Chase Kovacic in 6th, and then top 5. Cannon Gage on the switch over to Dodge here this year, looking good. Joey Johnson in 4th. 3rd place, your points leader, Lefty Turner. It seems like all he's good at is finishing 3rd, 2nd, 3rd, 2nd, 2nd. And yet again running 3rd here tonight. So he's got Snake Plissken ahead of him, who is the winningest of drivers so far this season, other than Campbell Marsh, who also has 2 wins. Gap starting to shrink a little bit. It looks like Snake Plissken reeling in. Santi Messi little by little down to 4.5. Oh, the lap car slowed him up, now back down to 4.78. $103 laps left to go. At the moment, these drivers trying to race to about lap 120 for their next round of pit stops. Well, now trying to close in on Snake Plissken here is the one of Lefty Turner. As Snake Plissken not really getting away from that number 1 machine. Alrighty, so the lead continues to stay pretty fluid. 84 Santi Messi not getting too far away. It's 4.5 seconds, the advantage to Snake Plissken. And they're all dealing with lap traffic right now. If we look up ahead, 84 not too much further ahead. He'll be dealing with it again as well. So Snake is trying to pick him off one by one as quickly as he can. Seems like he's actually doing a better job at working his way through the lap traffic than what Santi Messi did, believe it or not. Because he's actually gaining time to the leader from lap to lap here. Well, 88 laps in, make that 89. With 92 laps to go, or just almost at halfway here tonight. Next lap, it'll technically be halfway with 90 laps in and 91 laps to go. Sigma officials are keeping an eye for any noteworthy accidents that could force a caution here tonight. A bit of a mechanical failure here on Cannon Gage has dropped him out of the running for a top 5. He falls back to 32nd, a lap down it looks like. That moves everyone else up that was in the top 10. Including now up to 10th, Alex Sanvital. So tough break for the number 2 machine. Maybe he could still get something out of this with the pit stops. So we'll see if he got off schedule there. Maybe he can make something work. But Santi Messi is just out there on a leisurely cruise, holding this lead, driving away from the rest of the competition. I wish. Unfortunately, with the archaic, basically the archaic game of NR2003, the additional mods that I am using, it's pretty minimal to what you're actually able to adjust and modify. So I could probably figure out more logistics on figuring out when that lap happens, but it would have to be as it's happening live and I'm taking a note on a notepad kind of thing, because for the mechanics of the game and the mods, it's not very feasible, but it is possible. I could maybe make a graphic that I could basically edit right next to that saying which lap it happened on. Then I'd have to keep an eye on it every lap to make sure I didn't miss when that lap was set. That's probably the best way, or the only way I can think of that would work. And I think that one dropped before the green flag pit stop. Santi Messi must have set that one way early, because he was out front leading laps, and all of a sudden he had the fastest lap in the race. And it's been smooth sailing for Mr. Messi since then. Yeah, that gap growing and growing and growing, now up to nearly 6 seconds the advantage. And it's now the number 1 of Lefty Turner running in second, trying to chase down Santi Messi with that lead. Still, amazingly enough, no cautions here tonight. 100 laps in, 81 laps to go of pure green flag racing. The battles really have only been for second place mostly all day. What's interesting is the fast lap really hasn't swapped hands since the beginning of the race. Sometimes once it gets later into a run, you know, the gas load and all the other stuff, but then you think once they come back down pit road for fresh tires, a reset later in the race sometimes changes it. So it just seems like Santi Messi is on a whole different level here today. Hard to bet against him at the moment, as he's just putting on a clinic here at Nashville. Wow, how about that? The 59 of Ralph Oberstadt has picked up 8 spots since the round of green flag pit stops, already up into 12. Seems like he has more of a long run setup on that 59 machine. He's really climbing through the field here to try and get as many points back that he has lost in the long run here today. Still a lot of racing to unfold here, a lot of work to be done. But he's trending in the right direction, just like Ralph Oberstadt. You also have Sebastian Galloway Jr. moving up too. He's up to 8th. So some comers and goers for sure, making some moves as the long long green flag run continues on here. No cautions, 108 laps in, 73 laps to go. In the meanwhile, your leader still has a 5.2 second advantage over Lefty Turner. More than half the field gone a lap down already. It has been a grueling run here. These drivers, their tongues have got to be hanging out after putting in 110 laps, basically a non-stop racing here at Nashville. No mistakes, no cautions, just long, arduous green flag racing. Well, just like that, Snake Plissken falls back to fourth as Jimmy Logano Racing with Joey Johnson makes a move up into third. And Joey Johnson now trying to make a move for second on Lefty Turner here. Next round of pit stops, the window's starting to open up here, 70 laps to go. We saw everyone else pit within about 63 laps. 63 to 65, so still about 5 to 10 more laps to truly be comfortable with your last pit stop here tonight. Trying to move through the lap traffic here. Joey Johnson dealing with the 35 there of Cat Durham. 67 laps to go. Here comes Lefty Turner making a bold move to try and get back into second place. Laps led look a little bit something like this. 104 laps led here today by Santi Messi. 2 by Joey Johnson, 2 by Lefty Turner, 3 by Snake Plissken, and 2 by Chase Kovacic. That is the entirety of your lead lappers here today. Your top 5 all running there have led laps. But unfortunately, only one driver can win the race, and sort of looking hard for anyone to really do anything with Santi Messi putting on a clinic here today. The rest of the field hoping for maybe a caution or a catastrophe to fall upon the 84 machine, who's leading this race dominantly. Now with 65 laps to go, that's where this window opens wide up. Obviously, you don't want to pit right now because that means you'd be pushing it on fuel mileage to the finish. But if a caution were to come out right now, it'd be the perfect window for everyone to make their last pit stop. So, as it's trending already, staying green will likely be the case here. And green flag pit stops part 2 shortly to follow after that. At some point, there's got to be a mistake made here today. We can't simply run this race caution-free all night long. There's got to be a break in the action somewhere. Well, the gap shrinking a little bit, back down to 5 seconds as Joey Johnson trying to run down Santi Messi. Let's go see. Santi Messi's got some clear track ahead of him for now. Dealing with the 18 there of Trevor Vaden, lap down car. Man, what a snooze fest so far here tonight from Nashville. Did not think it was going to be quite the snoozer as this one has been. Santi Messi way out front has a 5.2 second advantage over Joey Johnson, and then a bigger lead over Lefty Turner and Snake Plissken the like. He's going to have to be making his pit stop again here really short like. We saw him on lap 63. So his pit stop window opens at about lap 126, which is right now. Shy Turtle has worked his way up to 5th. Chase Kovacic in 6th. Also running 7th, it is Sebastian Galloway Jr. 8th, it is Jonah Burridge. 9th place, Krista Cower. And with a solid top 10 so far, Alex Sanvital, followed by 11th place, Philip Purpura. 12th place, Campbell Marsh. 13th, Ralph Oberstad. A big turnaround from him here tonight, making up as many spots as he can to gain points back. Alan Malcolm in 14th, and Tim Morse rounding out the top 15. Well, Santi Messi playing a little bit different here on this round, staying out as long as he can. That could be detrimental if anyone takes the undercut here. He's out there turning 30.1 second laps, slow laps here. We'll see for any of our takers down pit road. It looks like maybe the one of Lefty Turner, the first one of our leaders to make the pit stop. Santi Messi not wasting too much more time after that. Here he is coming down pit road now. But Joey Johnson stays out. Snake Plissken stays out. And Shy Turtle and Chase Kovacic also trying to stretch it out here. So everyone's got the voodoo doll clinched in their fist, hoping that this 84 makes a mistake on pit road. That BMW has been on another level here tonight. Santi Messi proven. Whoa, why is that car flying down pit road? There's no way that was legal. .50 is the speed limit. Here he is rolling down in second gear at 110 miles an hour. We got to keep an eye on it. Maybe the 84's been cheating on pit road here. The 19 for sure is going to get a black flag here. There's no reason to be up to 101 miles an hour on pit road here. Speed limit is, in fact, 45. Well, I don't see anyone else on. Man, everyone is blowing through. That's the thing. Once you let one driver get away with it, everyone else tries to start getting away with it as well. Man, I would have to black flag everyone. That's weird, man. I don't know how that happens, but it's happening. Well, we already black flagged the race leader for the call. That unfortunately is kind of a gray area now because absolutely everyone else is not playing by the same rules as one would expect. So now Lefty Turner, your race leader. And he's yet to pit. No, there he pitted. 44 is the mileage. Man, Lefty Turner played it good, clean. Pit road entrance, and he did pick up the speed in the window there, but that's kind of legal. You've seen drivers like Kyle Larson get away with stuff like that where they pick it up in a segment. So Lefty Turner's fine. Man, we gotta Sigma officials are gonna have a head scratcher here on their hand. 44 miles an hour, the 82. And he does all right doing his pit stop. Man, yeah, there is a lot of shit going down here. Yeah, I do not know why they're speeding down pit road. What the hell? We will let it roll with the way things are unfolding here. So running in second, 82 of Joey Johnson. Then third place, Snake Plissken. Fourth place at the moment belongs to Shy Turtle. And then Chase Kovacic in fifth, Sebastian Galloway Jr. in sixth, Krista Cower seventh, Jonah Burridge eighth, Alex Sanvital ninth, and then a top 10 for Ralph Oberstadt. So the ultimate deal here was the fact that Santi Messi was getting away with it and gaining an unfair advantage to the rest of the field. Now, the rest of the field rejoins, and they're all very much within range of each other to fight for the win now. So part of the reason we aren't DQing anyone else, especially the likes of these two here, they did not show any mistakes on pit road. They didn't get past the speed limit for much more than a brief stint there. So no disqualifications handed out. No unfair advantages were gained on pit road via the pit stop loophole that these drivers have found here tonight. And now in the mix, trying to fight for the lead, that's Joey Johnson up to second. Right on the back bumper of the one of Lefty Turner. Lefty Turner, your current points leader. Fuel mileage should be clean and good to go to the finish. No more pit stops forecasted here tonight. Looking like we might have a 3-car battle for the win here amongst 3 of your top drivers here in the Bridge to Cup Series. Definitely the who's who of 2026 up front leading the way. Well, even with Santi Messi getting the black flag, he's still running in 15th. He's trying to climb back through the field again. 24 seconds off the lead. Miracles could still unfold here for the 84 team. They have to keep their nose to the grindstone and maybe hope for some lucky breaks. Lefty Turner in the #1 machine continues to hold the lead here over Joey Johnson in the 82. Still no cautions here tonight is simply amazing. And even then, we might still have a battle for the win between at least 2 or 3 cars here by the end of it. Sebastian Galloway Jr. with the top 5 runs so far. Look at Joey Johnson. 2 Chevys and a Dodge, your lead trio here. The 1, the 82, and the 81. Look at that. Here comes Joey Johnson fighting for the lead now. Lefty Turner didn't even put up much of a fight. He just let him by. Trackhouse B in the number 1 machine of Lefty Turner. But look at that. He might try the passover maneuver. Gets right back there alongside the 82, charging into turn 3. This is going to bring the 81 of Snake Plissken ever closer to the front of the field. And the 3-dog fight will truly commence. Joey Johnson gets kind of rubbed off there on the outside. And look at that, your trio right there under a blanket now. 33 laps to go, and it's a 3-car fight to the finish. No cautions. Everyone else, I think, desperately hoping for a caution to unfold here to try and give them a shot at least to maybe get into the mix before the end of this one. Leave it up to the Bridge to Cup drivers to try and just edge the rules a little bit. That was what we were seeing here tonight on pit road. There was so much of it going on that we couldn't simply hand out a black flag to everyone, since it was on the officiating for not catching it sooner. But for the ones that got too big of an advantage, those ones did not go unnoticed and unfortunately got punished here tonight. So Santi Messi, with his big gains on pit road, that was eliminated here tonight as he got a black flag they had to serve for illegal gain of time. The other drivers were able to get away with it just because they didn't gain enough of an advantage to truly fix the race or hamper the race. And the battle's still brewing here for your top 3. It could be a win between any one of this trio here. Lefty Turner, your points leader. Joey Johnson, a race winner at Dover earlier. Like I said, everyone else hoping for a late race caution and maybe try and bump elbows with the best of the best here. Still no mechanical failures, amazingly enough, later in the run. We had some early mechanical failures, but everything's still running so smoothly here with just 28 laps to go. Yeah, there might be a Santa Claus after that one. Santa Claus, that's clever. On December 25th, we have instated the Santa Claus. Or if Tim Burton's Nightmare on, or the night before Halloween, the one with Jack Skellington in it, the Sandy Claus. Alrighty, the battle getting good here for the win. Lap traffic is going to hold them up a little bit, but the number one starting to really build a gap, the 82 and the 81. Yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas, that's the one. Man, no caution here is insanely brutal. As we're down to 22 laps to go. '81 makes a bold move there, but the 82 continues to hold second position. Meanwhile, Santi Messi, let's see if he's made up any more ground. He's still 24.6 seconds back. Up to 12th though, so he's picking them off one by one. He would need a caution to really get a chance to fight back again here tonight and make up for that black flag penalty that he was served here in the last round of pit stops. Lap traffic could still help or hinder your leaders here. Fastest lap in the race, still nowhere near being touched. Santi Messi was the fastest car here today. But I'm almost wondering if part of that fast lap had something to do with a cheated up pit stop where he came out flying. So 20 laps remain. Yeah, it's hard to say if we had a caution here what would unfold. I think some of the drivers in the back might be kind of snoozing and sleeping, waiting for that opportunity to get a chance to pounce. Just looking for the light at the end of the tunnel here. Usually we've got at least a wreck or two to unfold before the end of a race like this one, but it's not looking very promising that we will get that caution. 18 laps to go. Lap traffic still a factor. I'm surprised working their way through lap traffic that there hasn't been a mistake made or a caution worthy wreck yet. As lap traffic still exists, there's always that opportunity for a caution to present itself. Number one of Lefty Turner looks like maybe struggling a little bit. I don't know where the speed dropped off there, but here comes the 82 knocking on the door. Good run from Joey Johnson down the front stretch. The one of Lefty Turner kind of faltering just a little bit. Ooh, the 81 is Snake Plissken. He wanted to give a good bump and run, but unfortunately the 82 still has the momentum on the high side. And Snake Plissken's trying to take matters into his own hands. He is wanting to get that caution to try and fight for the win here. $15 laps to go. Green-white checkers are enabled in case we need them here tonight. This has pretty much been an hour and a half full of non-stop racing here from Nashville. Daunting and crazy. Doesn't even begin to explain it. '74 of Moger under attack by your leaders here. This time by 13 laps to go. This just goes to show you that we've got some of the best up-and-coming drivers here in Bridge to Cup, that they're not making much mistakes here today. Clean, calculated, calm, organic racing here tonight. And Lefty Turner, a winless driver so far, and the points leader, would love to separate himself from the mix with the win. Oh, the one made a bit of a mistake there. That should open the door for the 82 of Joey Johnson. One's trying to get around the number 2, and that's going to bring the 82 right with him. 11 laps to go this time by. Joey Johnson is the closest he's been in a long time. Right there behind the number 1 machine. Snake Plissken following suit right behind it. Could we see a bump and run for the win here tonight? That 82 could make something happen. 10 laps to go. We can count the laps on 2 hands here tonight. No cautions up to this point. 0 for 0. It's insane. Well, lap traffic in the mix yet again here as we're approaching 8 laps to go. Snake Plissken is not out of this yet either. And wild things could still happen if all 3 of your leaders here make a mistake. Who knows what could happen. Back to 10. What is going on with Sebastian Galloway Jr.? Falls back to 10th now. Is there damage on the back end of that car? That was it. Just a quick spinner there. Man. Up to 4th. Falling back to 12th, maybe even 13th by the end of this. Your leaders dealing with the lap traffic now. That wreck didn't bring out a caution. We're still racing green all the way to the finish right now. But that means the caution could still happen. We could have a wreck with your leaders involved here. Here comes 82 charging through. 1 is getting held up here briefly. He's making quick work of the lap traffic though. Here comes 82 with a good run. Is it going to be enough though? Yes, here comes Joey Johnson down on the inside using that 65 as a pick. The 95 about to go a lap down here after getting up into the 4th position here tonight. And now he's just hanging on for dear life. That car is hammered. Oh, the leaders, they've got to work their way around him with ease. That could have been nasty. Snake Plissken working his way around the 95. Everyone else just having troubles getting around Sebastian there at the moment. No cautions is crazy, dude. Lefty Turner ain't letting this one get away from him here. He's going to try to duke it out. Race has stayed green all night. 2 more laps to go this time by. It's Joey Johnson leading the way. Lefty Turner wants it back badly. We are going to try to cruise through this race here tonight, caution free. Staying green, staying green. Boy, golly, it's staying green. No cautions here tonight. White flag waving, 1 more lap to go. Joey Johnson holds the lead. Lefty Turner, your points leader, wants it back. '82 is going to sneak one out here tonight after Lefty Turner had the reset through that segment, the black flags and all that. Joey Johnson is going to get win number 2 here in 2026 for Jimmy Logano Racing, and continues to cement himself as a threat in this championship battle. We now have 3 drivers at 2 wins apiece: Joey Johnson, Snake Plissken, and Campbell Marsh. The 8, the 81, and the 82. Al Bunch Incorporated has 4 of those 6 wins. Jimmy Logano Racing now has 2 of those. So quite the dominance from a few teams here already this year. Bringing it home the rest of the way, you had 2nd place Lefty Turner for Trackhouse B, the 81 of Snake Plissken for Al Bunch Incorporated. The 99 of Shy Turtle for KBM brings it home 4th. The 44 of Chase Kovacic with a 5th. You had Krista Cower 6th. Alex Savital 7th. Jonah Burridge 8th. Ralph Oberstadt with the top 10, finishing it in 9th. And Campbell Marsh 10th. 11th was Santi Messi 12th. The 31 of Philip Purpura, the 29 of Tim Morse, the 70 of Ryan White, and the 95 rounding out your top 15. Sebastian Galloway Jr. had a top 5 car, unfortunately got involved in a wreck that put him behind the black 8 ball here tonight. Joey Johnson, win number 2 here, secured at Nashville Super Speedway. That marks race number 10 of 30, so we are a third of the way through the season, and the battles and championships just getting set up. 30, yep. Well, that pales in comparison to the wild and crazy truck race we had last night with Carnage Galore. We had 181 laps of non-stop green flag racing here tonight from Nashville. So we have each end of the spectrum. We had beyond crazy that your brain was spinning to beyond lazy that you just couldn't figure out why there wasn't a wreck here tonight. Maybe we'll have something in between, you know, like Goldilocks, just right in the middle there. Hopefully the Cup races match that energy here Thursday and Friday. But other than that, folks, that's a wrap for the Bridge to Cup ARCA doubleheader here tonight. Hopefully all can tune in for the Cup races coming up here Thursday and Friday. We're going to have some heat races at Evergreen. A little bit different. 30 cars are locked in based on the current point standings. And we're going to have about a 30-ish field of drivers in a heat race. Kind of like the All-Star Open, where we'll take 3 from Heat 1 and then 3 from the second heat. It'll be an inverted field after the first. And the first 3 drivers will get to park it after starting the second heat. So, should be exciting. Evergreen's going to be good. It's a track that the Washingtonians have figured out. 9 of 11 races have been won by a Washington native or a driver that has called Washington home at one point in their life. We'll see if that trend continues here on Thursday. But other than that, I have iRacing coverage tomorrow night, so I'll be off the YouTube side from the JSR channel. But if you want to tune in and support Intensity Broadcasting, catch me calling the action tomorrow night with Intensity Broadcasting. You can see right there on the ticker on the advertisement there, Intensity Broadcasting, YouTube and Twitch. Should be an interesting race tomorrow night with the SCSRA Cup Series. I'm excited to call those races week in and week out. But thanks again, folks, for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the broadcast. Have a great night. Stay safe out there. And until next time,